How's it going, everybody? Thank you for coming out tonight. It is good to be here. It is good to be back. Now that COVID's over, it was a weird time for everybody. But as you can imagine, a comedian who spends most of their time on the road, it was a very strange time for me. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I remember I would get on social media every day, and I'd see my buddies in New York and Los Angeles, and they'd be in their one-bedroom apartments, literal lockdown. And every day they'd say the same thing. I just want this to be over so comedy can come back and I can see people again. Because that's what comedy does. It lets us see people, But I'm married with 2 kids, so I wanted comedy to come back for a completely different reason than they did. I was ready to not see people for a little while. And the first club that reached out was actually the club in Cleveland, and they said, hey, we're going to start doing shows again. What do you think about coming up? And I said, it sounds great. I can't wait. I'll see you soon. And they're like, we haven't told you what the dates are. I was like, I don't care when it is. I'll be there. All right. And they're like, all right, well, let's talk money. And I said, I'll give you $500 if you just let me spend the night in a hotel by myself. And I try to do things other comedians did during COVID to keep the rust off. I did stand up at a drive-in, which was awful. I hated it. They hated it, they're trying to watch a movie. But I was like, listen, I have jokes to tell. It's good to be here, man. I know every comic you've ever seen says it's good to be here, but I mean it, okay? This is a good gig. And I know, because I've done terrible gigs, okay? I've done stand-up dressed like an umpire during a minor league baseball game. That is a terrible gig. See, I've been doing this 25 years, okay? And 6 months in, I didn't know there's jobs you're not supposed to take. So when the woman from the Dayton Dragons baseball team came up to me after a show and said, how would you like to play in front of a sold-out stadium? I was like, lady, I've been doing this half a year. Of course I'm ready for it. So I drive up to Dayton from my home in Cincinnati, where it was a beautiful night at the ballpark, absolutely packed. They gave me my umpire uniform, which was 2 sizes too small. Not a good look on me, okay? And I realized that when this guy said, hey, your chest protector's on funny. I was like, I'm not wearing a chest protector. This is a medium. And I started to get nervous, and I asked this guy, I go, hey, man, what happens when I think this goes as bad as it's about to? And he goes, look, I was a linebacker for the New York Jets in the National Football League for 7 years. I know what fear is. This is nothing. You're going to go out there. You're going to have a good time. If anything goes wrong, I'll come out and save you. Those people love me. I'm the one who throws them free T-shirts when I run around with the mascot. I was like, all right, thank you. I appreciate that. So it's the 4th inning. I'm supposed to go out there at the end of the inning. Well, in the bottom of the 4th, there's a close play at home plate, and the umpire makes a horrible call and gets into an argument with the Dragons' star player at the time, William Opeña, and proceeds to throw him out of the game. Then the Dragons' manager goes out to argue, and he gets tossed. Now we have 10,000 people booing the man I'm going to pretend to be in about 30 seconds to try to get some laughs. The guy was like, hey, man, you want to wait a couple innings? I was like, I'd like to wait a couple games, if that's okay. He's like, look, man, if you don't go out there, we can't pay you. I was like, all right, let's just wait a couple innings. So fast forward to now, I'm going to try it again, okay? The inning ends. The umpire walks down into the dugout. I put the mask on. They make the announcement. Tonight's umpire is also a stand-up comedian, and he's going to do his act for you. I step out onto the field. Boo! Boo! I get to home plate. I start doing my material, okay? And they hate it. But by the end of the material, I feel like they're listening. They're not laughing, but they've stopped booing. And now I have to decide, do I want to finish with some dignity or just fly this plane straight into the mountain? So I had been making fun of people who go to the flea market, okay? And I say, are there any NASCAR fans here tonight? Yeah. I would be like, NASCAR is huge at the flea market. Ooh! Hot dogs, pretzels, anything you can throw is just hitting me from every direction as I stand there smiling behind the mask because I can't fully explain it, but there's something exhilarating about feeling pure, unfiltered hatred from that many people at one time. But also, this has not gone well, right? This has not gone the way it was supposed to, and I don't know how I'm supposed to finish when I see that guy jog out of the dugout and start jogging towards home plate. And I'm like, oh, great. He's going to come and tell everybody what happened. And he doesn't slow down. In fact, he picks up speed, and he just spears me. I mean, just levels me. Now I'm laying on home plate, looking up at the sky. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Pretty sure I've sustained a spinal injury, and 10,000 people could not be happier about it, right? They are losing their minds while this guy just parades around my lifeless body, soaking it in, right? So then he picks me up like I'm nothing, like a rag doll, just tosses me over his shoulder. Then he grabs the mic up off the ground. He's like, Dragon fans, I'll take out the trash tonight. Yeah! So I'm flopped over his shoulder as he's carrying me to the dugout. Wind completely knocked out of my system. So right in his ear, I'm going, We get back underground. He's like, that was crazy. I was like, that's insane. What just happened? He goes, were you crying out there? I was like, crying? No, I wasn't crying. I didn't think I was going to breathe ever again. I can't believe I did this for $35. So yeah, it's good to be here. Listen.